What about relationships? So we all have people in our lives that we know are toxic to us. They suck our energy and they make us feel all sorts of negative emotions and feelings. If we can, it would be wise to just discontinue those relationships, even if you think that they actually mean well and they don't really mean to be hurting your feelings or making you feel bad about yourself. If they don't offer support and positive feelings, they are taking away from your life, and they're taking away from you living your best life. So if you can, I would just say dissolve those relationships or minimize the relationship. But sometimes that's trickier because maybe you work with them or their family and you can't really completely cut off, well, you feel like you can't really cut off complete contact with them. If that's the case, please just remember that you can only control yourself. So you don't want to be trying to change their behavior and trying to influence them and tell them, call them out on what they're doing, because generally that never goes well. So you can only control you and your response. So try to model the behavior that you want to see in them. Try not to get sucked into the mirror, because as human beings, we have this mirror neuron where when you see somebody else behaving or talking in a certain way, we tend to fall into the same we mirror them. So try not to fall victim to that when someone is being negative and being a drain to you. So instead, choose a calm, neutral expression and try to model the type of behavior that you would prefer to be seeing in them. The best way to build up the relationships in your life to ones of happiness and mutual respect and support is to show gratitude and appreciation for those relationships. Gratitude falls into just about every aspect of our life when we're trying to improve it and make it more positive. We all want to feel appreciated, right? So start modeling that behavior and showing others what you would like to receive in return. So as a couple or as a family or in a friendship even, make it a practice where you back and forth show appreciation for them and for yourself. And so in my family, we have this practice at the dinner table where we all go around and we all share one thing that we're grateful for. And then we go around the table and we say one thing that we love about ourselves. And so this is showing appreciation for the people around us as well as for ourselves. But to take it to even another level is to make it specific, to sit with one person and say, I appreciate this about you. And then they come back, I appreciate this about you. And you go back and forth maybe 5 times, and then go back and forth saying, I appreciate this about myself. And then they go, etc. That really builds the strength of a relationship, because that other person starts to just feel how much you love and appreciate them. And it also builds it inside of you. You've heard of the bucket filler, right? That storybook for kids about filling someone else's bucket. When you show love and you do kind things to other people, it also makes you feel good inside. You cannot leave a session of appreciation feeling crappy. You just cannot. You will feel so good to not only receive appreciation from someone else, but from yourself as well. Okay, so lastly, of course, we're going to talk about food. Now, this is a huge topic, and in no way can I cover it in the next 2 minutes that I'm going to talk to you. So I want you to kind of take in a few of the main points, but also to think of, is there somewhere in there that is really a challenge for you? And then bring this to our next session, because if food is something that comes up for you and is presenting as an obstacle to you achieving some of your goals, then it's something that we should address. And so some of the main points here are eating real food. So, processed foods, canned foods, things that are not made with real food are generally not good for your body. So stick with the real food that grows from the ground or that lives off of the ground. That's the kind of food that we want to be putting into our body. That's what was meant to nourish us from, thousands of years. It was meant to nourish us. And so that's what we should be putting in. All of the artificial things that are on our market, in our market and on our shelves are not what we should be putting into our body. So avoiding refined sugar. This is huge as far as your body. It's a toxin to your body, really. It creates all sorts of chemical reactions in your body that are not healthy for you. When it comes to grains, choose whole grains, things that are unrefined. Avoid the white stuff because that is so heavily processed and refined. which brings me to avoiding processed foods. Processed foods contain some of the most harmful ingredients that we can put into our body. Increase your water intake. So this is huge. There's actually a whole book that is really cool if you're interested. It's called You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. And most of us are walking around very dehydrated. You should be aiming to drink at least 1/2 of your body weight in ounces a day. And if you drink dehydrating beverages like caffeinated coffees or teas or alcoholic beverages, you need to replace those with water. If you do like a high intensity exercise, you need to replace that water loss. So it ends up building up to even more. If you're nowhere near that, then you need to just gradually work your way up. Will you have to go to the bathroom more? Of course you will. What you put in is going to have to come out, but you're going to start to notice huge shifts in actually, like, your skin will be the first thing that you notice, how much more vibrant and nourished it looks. Decrease your caffeine and alcohol, so that will decrease the amount of water that you need to have in, but it also has some negative effects on your body. Now, I know a lot of people enjoy their coffee in the morning and sometimes all day long. I know also a lot of people that enjoy to have alcoholic beverages in the evening. Me, I like to have my tea in the morning, but it does have caffeine in it, and I also like to occasionally have a glass of wine or two in the evening. And so if those are the days that I'm having that, I need to replace them with water, but also to, take note of how it's affecting my body. Because if your body's sending you signals when you're having those things, it's telling you this is not a good choice. And so actually that's why I gave up coffee, is because every time I drank it, it was making me not feel good. It really bothered my stomach, and it made my heart beat really fast, and I sweat a lot, and I thought, this is like my body sending me a big signal. But I ignored it for so long because I enjoyed coffee for so much. And but when I finally listened to that signal, it was amazing how much better I felt not having that coffee when I could get over the, missing it in the morning. Be mindful and conscious of your choices. So I have actually read stories of people who ask themselves before they take every bite of food, before they put anything in their mouth, they ask themselves, will this nourish me? And your body will send you answers. This is a message I'm giving to people all the time. Your body is constantly communicating with you. If you're about to eat a handful of Smarties, an example, ask yourself, will this nourish me? Your body is going to tell you no. Listen to it. If you're about to eat an orange and you ask yourself, will this nourish me? And your body says no, then don't eat the orange either. My body big time was saying coffee is not nourishing you. You need to stop drinking it. So if we listen, it has a huge impact on how our body functions. Also, if you're looking at things like weight loss, it also can have a big impact there when you start to consciously make choices about when you eat and the types of food that you put in your body. As well, like even sitting down to a meal, you might fill your plate, but then halfway through your meal, you're starting to get signals that you're full and you're done. Then don't finish it. There is, in my family growing up, we were told you want to be a part of the clean plate club, right? Eat every last bit on your plate. And that's how I was raising my kids for the first few years, until I realized that this is silly. If I don't want to eat, if my body is telling me that it's full and it doesn't like something, I don't eat it. So why should I be telling my children that they should ignore their body cues, right? We need to listen to the signals that our body is sending us. So I'm going to conclude on that note, because that's always a really important piece to leave people with. If you have any questions on this, please, of course, don't hesitate to email me or text me, and I will help walk you through it before our session, or bring it to the next session, and we can focus on that as a challenge. Have a good one.